yeah, like it's been cool because like that's part of the evolution. How many people have just decided to trust the project and hop on, not really, for the sake of wanting to see like a result, but just to be around something like that. It's been really interesting and really cool that we've been able to
Definitely.
stick around and
Yeah, and no, and it's also because like I feel like everyone like we gathered together in like in the perfect place because each of us have really put like our skills to work into one thing. So it's just not one person doing everything. It's just like
Powerful.
each of us have individually something to bring to the table.
No, for
And
something like that, there's a lot of moving parts. To have,
yeah,
6, 7 guys devoted to this, like you said, on a weekly basis is a testament to what this really could become. Because it's not easy to have 7 guys committed to something like that.
yeah,
There's power behind that.
like we said, we bring a different artist every week. So it's, coordinating their time, making sure that they can do it at a certain time and a
Yeah.
certain date and stuff. And then over time, we've seen how like we started kind of being the ones that wanted to reach out and the ones that, and now we have all this huge, like this really interesting, cool community of different artists that are interested in coming in and doing it and kind of just wanting to be a part of it.
Man I know, his name is Mr. Map. Man from you see scar his face and shirt fix. He works for a last company, I work for it. And from you see his which girl, you know he's a bandit. That same Mr. Mac, Lord, Lord, Mr. Mac falling. Mr. Mark falling. You, Mr. Mark. Mr. Mark, Mr. Mark. Yeah. You, Mr. Mark. Mr. Mark, Mr. Mark. Aha. You, Mr. Mark. Mr. Mark, Mr. Mark.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Stay Tranquilo podcast. We're here with a few of the Cuartito Sessions guys, Ricky and Luis. And this is a long overdue conversation. I know I've talked to Nemo from your team a little bit, and Nico Garcia, who I've known from high school. And I love what you guys are doing. But I think I would love for you guys to, one, introduce yourselves, but also give a little bit of context and background into Cuartito Sessions as well.
definitely. You want to go first?
You go first.
Yeah. Well, my name is Ricky. Also, my artist name is Henry Costa. I'm a musician for Cuartico. I play for them guitar. I also do like the PR and A&R as well. And we've been together for quite a while, just trying to make music and just sharing experience, building a community here in Miami, and having many different artists coming in and create an experience that we can all share in the whole place. Pretty much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Luis. I'm the drummer and the creative director for the project, for Cuartito Sessions. Like Henry said before, we've been together for about a year and some months now, just being steady, recording, bringing different artists. Basically, what we do is we bring a different singer into a studio every week, and we record songs that everybody loves, newer, older, and we give them another twist. We rearrange them. That's what Nemo does. He's like basically our fearless leader in that sense.
He's very good at it.
He's the one that really started the project. He kind of put us all together, and yeah, we've been doing it for a while now, and it's brought us really good times.
Absolutely. I think that's always the coolest thing when you start something like that. You don't really have an intention really behind it besides like, hey, we like, in your case, music. We like to, this is what we enjoy. We enjoy our company. And then things start happening and the afterthoughts, right? And you're like, holy cow, like,
Yeah.
you don't really see what maybe might happen on the other side of it. but you just know that, you know, good times come from this.
It's really funny. We legitimately, the first couple or 2 or 3 times that we met, we were just like, let's make something that doesn't really allow us to overthink. Like I think that the main thing that musicians, especially if you know think about your craft or music in a certain way, whatever it is you do, like it could be, you know, video, just like anything. You can make a Subway sandwich and overthink it, and so like in our case, we just wanted to do something that allowed us to put something out consistently, that like every week we would have something new to share to our friends and the people that are close to us. And then it started just, you know, kind of getting bigger and bigger. Like we started with a very small setup, and then Nemo just out of
Nemo
his
goes
own
crazy with it.
he just legitimately
He goes crazy.
he legitimately just I walked in the room one day, there was like a whole drum room in the room and stuff. So
I don't know where. Like,
yeah,
just
out of
like
nowhere,
one day.
so-
So
Right
so what did he do? He built a set like in the garage or something like it's something in his house, right? You said something in his house.
It's another room that's over there, but basically it's turned into like the whole studio thing, and it has like these little props, and like we just keep on changing it. So like the project since it started up until now, it's really evolved a lot, and I'm sure it's gonna keep on evolving. But yeah, we have like the studio, we record over there. Sometimes I go and I record things for myself too.
Oh, nice.
And we have pretty much everything. We have
So
a
it's got
drum set over there.
those like soundproof
Yeah.
walls, everything.
Yeah.
It's essentially a recording studio, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
At this point.
Yeah, it's
It
a
really-
home studio. It's basically us two. Henry's on guitar. I'm on drums. Nemo he plays piano and he does you know the arrangements for the songs. We have our bass player Tian. We have our guitar player Chris Padron, and Nico. He's our director and you know videographer and kind of takes care of the look and feel of the whole project. And then we have our engineer Juan Montenegro, who's like I've known for a long time from Nicaragua. Also, I'm from Nicaragua, and then. Yeah, you know, like it's been cool because like that's part of the evolution. How many people have just decided to trust the project and hop on, not really, you know, for the sake of wanting to see like a result, but just to be around something like that. It's been really interesting and really cool that, you know, we've been able
Definitely.
to stick around and, you know.
Yeah, and it's also because like I feel like everyone like we gather together and like in the perfect place because each of us have really put like our skills to work into one thing. So it's just not one person doing everything. It's just
powerful.
like each of us have individually something to bring to the table, which makes the whole thing work perfectly. It's like a puzzle that's like very well fit.
No, for something like that, there's a lot of moving parts. I mean, one, the space, like that to me is already a monster obstacle in itself for someone that, you know, wants to do it and do it well and right? And then it's like you said, finding the personnel of people that are one willing to do it and make that commitment, right? Because one thing is like you show up one day and you do it, right? Then you maybe show up 1 week and then it becomes like, hey, I can't today, but maybe in a couple of weeks we'll do it again. And then that's how it just fades away. To have, you know, 6, 7 guys devoted to this, like you said, on a weekly basis is a testament to what this really could become, because it's not easy to have 7 guys committed to something like that.
Yeah.
There's power behind that.
Yeah, and also like that by doing that, another thing that's like kind of we've decided a big pillar of the project is gonna be, or like something that's just really important for all of us is just like we said, we bring a different artist every week. So it's, you know, coordinating their time, making sure that they can do it at a certain time on a certain date and stuff. And then over time, we've seen how like we started kind of being the ones that wanted to reach out and the ones that, you know, and now we have all this huge, like this really interesting, cool community of different artists that are interested in coming in and doing it and kind of just wanting to be a part of it. Again, but besides all the rest of what it could come from it, you know?
Right.
So it's just a very kind of pure approach.
100%. So how did the name Cuartito Sessions come about?
It's made. We recorded it in Cuartito.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So you guys was just there in the room and you're like, you know what? This is Cuartito Sessions.
It's just, yeah. I mean, when I helped out.
I really didn't think there was much to it, but I wanted to feel.
When you guys are definitely gonna be there.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
So you're gonna see literally like everybody. The first thing they say, it's like, oh, it looks way bigger on camera. I'm like, you know, sometimes that happens.
exactly.
That's crazy. That's cool.
No one expects it. Like
So,
everyone
yeah.
gets like so shocked when they get in.
It does look pretty big on the camera. So
Yeah.
I'm curious what it looks like now.
Yeah.
So now, how long have you guys been doing this?
For a little bit more than a year, right?
A year and I'd say 4 months at this
Wow,
point.
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
4 months,
Yeah,
something like
it's,
that.
I mean, if you guys haven't seen it yet, it is an amazing page. I came across it, and I always, when I started Stay Tranquilo, I always saw a vision where music and like the Stay Tranquilo name always kind of matched, right? Because I do think music is a form of finding your tranquilo, like I like to say, right? Like, I think that's where you can really disconnect. There's a million different genres that can resonate based on how you're feeling in that moment, whether you're riding a high in life, right? And you're just at that place and you want to celebrate and you want to put that music that's going to make you feel that, you could put that on. Or you could be at a low and you're sad as hell and you find a playlist that's going to work for that, right? And it's like music, whatever, angry, sad, whatever it is, you're going to find something and it's just going to enhance that feeling, but in a way that at the end of the day just makes you feel better, right? Whether you're feeling down, you're feeling good, like you're still going to be elevated from it at some capacity. And that's to me why I think music is something that's powerful and it brings people together, right? I mean, look at concerts, right? All these people are there to see that one artist and they're there next to a stranger and they have their arm around them or they're singing that song at the top of their lungs. Like, music to me is one of the most powerful things. I think it's like up there. I'm a big sports guy. I think sports also does that because that camaraderie where you're next to somebody and you're rooting for the same person, or if you're not, you're back and forth at each other, right? Like but it brings out that emotional side that a lot of people don't tap into, and music does that.
Yeah. It does. And again, like something that we could have never expected, not only from this, but just like in general. Like you said, one thing that I think is really cool and that we all think is really cool about that project is that we're not really tied to a genre. Like, we've done everything from like salsa to like punk rock and stuff. We've done everything, and that's another thing that keeps it exciting for us because we're not really tied to either a song or something. We just we move very quickly. We just have to. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the thing about not being able to overthink it. We just we have a result to get to, and adapt and what is it? Improvise, adapt, overcome.
Improvise, adapt, overcome. It really is like that. You have to be innovative with what you do. Like, whenever you choose a song, you have a singer. And then we try to like obviously change the genre of it so the singer can like go into and like, do what they have to do. And it's just part of the process. It's just like the creative side of like changing things, which is the main thing of a cuartito too. Just like grabbing one song and then turning into something else, as Luis said before.
Absolutely.
And that's like the cool part about it, which is also a challenge because you're like, okay, we get there and we're like, all right, we have to like do this now. We don't even know where we're gonna do it. It's just like getting there a couple hours before and then working on it. And we'll see how it goes.
I do think there's power in that, like you said, like the non-overthinking thing. Because sometimes if you think about it too much, you're almost gonna like gravitate away from what it is that you really want to think. Because you start thinking like, oh, but you know what, we heard this or we saw this there, maybe we want it like this way, and then you start changing too much, and then it's not the product that you end up going. Whereas if you don't think about it, you
go with the flow.
It's gonna come. It's gonna come out as natural and as organic as possible. Which I think that's what you want in that setting, right? It's not, you're not recording a music video. That's not what it is.
Right.
And it's also kind of made us have to get comfortable with mistakes a lot. And I think it's an interesting parallel. Now you mentioned sports, is like you have to kind of search for that result by all means possible. Like in sports, it's kind of like that. It doesn't really matter how you win as long as you win.
Right.
So it's like we win by being able to keep going and to stay sort of together and not necessarily crumbled, but not necessarily take the results too personal. Some of us, we show up there and exactly like a team, we show up. One of us has like an off week one day, and some of us are, kind of. So it's cool. It's like we get to experience that part of music, which is not really common like that. I don't think, at least in bands.
No, and it's really cool because like what I feel that each of us has, like, we all come from like different genres of music. So like, for example, I come a lot from like jazz and R&B and those things. Luis comes a lot from like rock and stuff.
Very cool.
The other guitarists come from like classical music, the pianists, like each of us have like different things. So like when it comes to like making the arrangements and everything, we each put like a piece of what like we know into it. So like the bigger picture is like a whole mixture of different things that at the end of the day comes out like really good, something really nice.
And if I can, I want to throw a special shout out to Nico, because Nico is legitimately the person that will come up with the just the one idea that none of us are thinking about, and he'll nail it every his ideas are always like great, even though he not necessarily is playing with us all the time. He's a great sax player.
I was just gonna say he's also he
He's
plays
a
the
sax
sax.
player. Good singer, great singer too.
Really?
Great
That I didn't
piano
know.
player,
I knew he could rip the sax.
Don't tell him I told you. Yeah, but it's
that.
cool. Like legitimately, we are always surprised about what happens. Even if everything's planned out, we're always walk out and there was a surprise.
I think having like that many heads is a good thing, because I mean, even when I was doing this, like the biggest struggle for me was like, I have a good idea, but how can I validify that it's a good idea without talking to somebody about it, right? Or even vice versa. This is a bad idea, right? Like, no, do not do that, right? But when you have multiple heads, you could feed off of each other, because now that a good idea probably is going to turn into an even better idea, because now your perspective is going to come in, their perspective is going to come in, and then you're going to be like, okay, yeah, we're going to do this, and that's a good idea, but we should do it this way because of this reason or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then boom, that's like where that I think the magic happens. Which, again, I think that team is huge. And you guys obviously have done an amazing job, and
Thank you.
it's definitely shown, and I love it. I mean, what it reminds me of is like Tiny Desk NPR.
It's kind of like that vibe.
It's literally like the elevator pitch. Like every time we talk to somebody about it and we want to talk about it in less than five sentences, like think about Tiny Desk, but a Miami version.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly the vibe that it gives me.
Literally, that's
I'm like, dude, this is sick. Like, this is long overdue, one. And two, like, NPR was like one of my favorite things growing up. And like the concept of it was so cool because it exposed artists in a way, I don't think expose is the right word, but it displayed artists in a way that you would never even know, right? It showed a side of them that you're like, holy shit. Like I don't know if you guys ever seen the T-Pain.
Yes.
Yeah, the
T-Pain
T-Pain
is
is crazy.
awesome.
That one was
Blows
crazy.
my mind.
Yeah.
Blows my
I love
mind.
T-Pain.
And I'm like, this is a guy that made his career off of auto-tune. And then you see him sing there and you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
that's not T-Pain.
Dude,
And
it's
you're
crazy.
like, no, he then like comes out, mentioning it, which is why I think this is cool, which I'll get back to that point. But he mentions like, oh, I got an auto-tune because auto-tune was different at the time. And it was kind of like the new wave. And it was the new wave. I mean, goddamn, Travis Scott ended up doing it and everybody does it now to this day. But he did it in a very different way. And obviously he became T-Pain because of it.
Yeah.
But you're seeing this other side of T-Pain, they're like, holy cow, this guy has a cool voice. But I think that's the cool component of it, right? You have the aspect of you're showing an artist in a way that you've never seen before, in a setting that's very organic and raw. But then two, you can then now showcase his story, right? And be like, this is T-Pain, why he became T-Pain, but also like, this is also who he is if you didn't know, which I think is cool, because you become a fan of these artists and, the millions of downloads that they get, there's going to be people that are big fans, right? The couple 100,000 people that now want to be like, but I want to know more about T-Pain, or I want to see the undiscovered stuff of this artist, which I grew up always like, obviously the mainstream stuff is always cool, but I always wanted to find like the stuff
the
in
hidden
between.
things,
Exactly, which is cool. And artists make so much music that so much of it is just never discovered.
Yeah. No, and it's cool because like I also feel like whenever we bring a singer, we're kind of putting them in not their comfort zone.
Right.
Because like, I mean, it's a different genre. It's something completely different that they're doing. So like that's when it comes to what you're saying, like we're putting like in a different setting, something else where you see the artist showcasing another part of their talent.
Yeah.
Over like something like not used to for them saying or anything like that.
And now like in the last sessions, like probably coming, a couple months ago, we started taking like little capsule interviews, asking a couple questions. What do you think about the session? How did you,
Right.
And we found out super great, cool, interesting details. One of our singers that was there, Mafe, she was like, oh, I'm doing this thing. Can I say, I don't know if I can say it, but, I'm in The Voice. She ends up being the Voice finalist.
Oh, wow.
Like just, these kind of like stories that are like, are more than just us, I think.
Right.
They're more than a room with people. It's just like this way to connect with another human being. And there's so many amazing artists that like we are not aware of. And I'm sure people that are out there are looking for their new kind of obsession artist thing.
Yeah.
And they maybe can get to it through us. So that's kind of like a cool power to have, you know, sort of showcasing not only ourselves, but like, you know, a bigger kind of pool of people that are striving for a career.
It's a part of like creating the community.
Yeah,
Definitely.
community is big for us.
100%.
Yeah.
And for them too, it's a different piece of content that they're not used to maybe having on their, you know, on their socials, right? It's a unique way to display them in a way you're like, because everyone, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but like in that space, you're always going to want to like, you know, portray yourself in a certain way and have a certain, you know, persona and, you know, have that personal brand, I guess you could say, right? But when you're in that room, it's like all egos left outside the door. Like we're just here to make music and vibe, right? Like that's
super organic.
That to me is the way, and it comes off that way too, which is good because you see people and it's like, especially when you're aspiring. Like if you're a big artist, you can essentially do whatever the hell you want because you've already built that reputation, right? But aspiring people, like there's always going to be a big sense of judgment, I guess, that comes around. But you're in that room and there's no judgment because it's like we're all in here for the same reason, and it's just we're just here making music. Like that's as simple as that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and again, like we feel like the way that the project started, the first couple weeks that we've met, the idea that we are here now is like it literally boggles our mind. We got a shout out from an amazing artist, Franco De Vita. He's from Venezuela, and he's like a legend to us. And we did a medley with another artist, Jonathan Molly. We made like a medley of his songs, but we again rearranged them all. And he ended up shouting us out, so that's huge. I can tell my mom about that. You know?
I told my whole family. Like,
like holy cow, what?
Yeah. No, it's like it literally all of it is we're really enjoying the journey, and we're hoping to do many more things, but we're not attached to the results as much as we are enjoying the process of making.
Exactly.
Yeah, we were talking about it a little bit before, like the component of the fact that like when you do these things, you really have no idea who's gonna see it, which is crazy because then you have a guy like that reaching out to you saying like, hey, I like this, and then sharing it on top of it, and you're like, it's like a surreal moment.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
It's crazy. Like when I saw it, I was like, what?
Yeah, we were freaking. Let's just say the group chat freaked out. We were legitimately all freaking out.
That's check it off the box of like one story to tell forever.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the craziest thing is like we aim for that to happen, and when it actually happened, we're just like,
holy shit.
Yeah.
It's like that holy shit moment. You're like, fuck.
Exactly. Even when you have a plan, sometimes it's just good to be surprised by the good stuff instead of, you know.
That's a cool part of it too.
Yeah, that's the fun part about it.
100%. So now that you guys have had a little bit of traction, you know, and you guys have momentum, you guys have built a cadence of like how you're producing it. What's kind of like the vision for Cuartito Sessions? Like how do you guys see it continue to grow? And where would you guys ultimately like to take it, I guess?
Well, it's definitely, as I was saying before, it's like the evolution of things. Like we're progressing. We recorded a first season. We're now working on our second season. We even kind of like rebuild the whole room a little bit. We switch things from places. And we're pretty much gonna keep on doing the same thing, bring in different artists, bring in bands as well. We want bands to like come and like do covers with their sound. We throw events sometimes. We did a jam.
Yes.
With our friends from Creative Mondays. That was really nice. That came out super cool.
I was gonna go to the one that you guys had at Tripping Animals.
That's the one.
Yeah. I was gonna go and I forget what. Oh, on the way there, I had just gotten a new phone. Right.
Oh my god.
And something happened that with the SIM card or something like that. So I'm in the middle of like driving, and then I pressed something on the new phone, and whatever I did basically reset it and set everything back to my old phone. So now I was like phoneless. And honestly, this is terrible because it's like, goddamn, we're that dependent on our phones.
Yeah.
But I was just like more freaked out about the fact I'm like, bro, where the flip is all my data? Like, where did everything go? I think I was about to pick him up. Yeah, I was about to pick him up. And then I'm like, dude, I gotta go back home. There's something going on with my phone. I have no idea. Yeah.
He finally called me like, dude, my phone just broke and everything.
So I was on the phone with Verizon for like 30 minutes, and by the time I got a result, I think it was like 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
we were gonna go. I remember we were
Yeah.
going together.
so we'll definitely be there for the next one, which is coming up.
It's literally like I'm not sure when this is out, but we're having one on May 27th.
Savage
Winwood.
Steps.
Oh,
Savage
okay.
Steps.
Yeah.
So, which is like another great place just where we've been able to build some community and meet artists and stuff. But you guys are more than welcome, invited to.
You guys should
absolutely
definitely come.
hang
Yeah,
out
really
and
fun.
chill. Next Saturday, the 27th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the 27th?
Oh,
Yeah.
shoot. Wait, that's July 27th, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be out of town.
Man.
I
All right,
know.
next one.
Next
it is.
one.
God damn it, bro.
Next one it is.
I literally I get back that night at like midnight.
You said I also
And
said
he gets back on the
27th,
cruise.
and I'm like, next year? May 27th. I'm already
Oh, it's July. Sorry.
But yes, for sure, the next one, 1,000%, I will be there for sure. But
that's
nah,
good.
it's cool. The live event stuff is dope too because you get to actually be there in person with like the audience side of things.
Yeah.
People that probably consume the content, but now you get to see them in like real life, and they get to see you guys in real life.
And it's cool because a lot of the singers or like musicians that we invited before, they also go and like it's like they love the project. So they go all the time, they perform too. When we had the other jam, they did the same thing. And we always encourage people or new musicians to come, and it's just like, yeah, we'll play our sets, we'll jam, we'll do our thing. But it's also like, hey, you want to come and play saxophone or you want to play guitar? Like, dude, be my guest, just jump here. It's just part of the whole thing, We're just like pretty much building, as I said before, like community, we have a lot of musicians, a lot of artists, people that want to get into the scene. And like at the end of the day, the Miami scene, it's really nice because I feel like a lot of people are like very friendly. So that's like the cool part about it, that everyone just like wants to participate in.
It's fun.
that
The reason I laugh at that is because not a lot of people say that Miami people are friendly.
Musician wise.
I know, no, but where I want to go with that is that it shows like in your guys' world that's probably the case, right? Like it's just down to earth people that are not caught up in the Miami scene, essentially, right? Where most people are that fall on that side of the category that are not necessarily the nicest people out there, but there are cool people out there, and you just got to find, like I say, find your tribe, right? Like
Yeah.
people are out there.
We met a couple of our most coolest collaborators through that last jam. We actually picked one of the a singer through that jam. It ended up doing we ended up doing that one, really great session. And then this next one we're kind of doing the same thing because that's kind of the point. Like the point is to keep opening up to and passing the mic and hopefully through that niceness meet other cool nice people and just keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, you discover a lot of talent that way too.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You're gonna find someone, you're like, holy cow. Even people that don't put themselves, that's the other thing. Not everyone puts themselves out there on social media, and then all of a sudden they show up to something like that, and you're like, holy moly, where the hell have you been?
Yeah.
There's tons of talent out there.
And it also happens that like a lot of like singers, like whatever musicians, they don't have to pay for a band. That it's a lot of money. Not everyone has that.
That is
much.
very true.
So like we're willing to be like, okay, let's see what you got. Let's jam it out. Let's taste the water.
Yeah.
And then that's the cool part of it.
Absolutely.
So the next question I actually have for you guys before because I want to go back to the music, but I want to ask you this question first because one, I'm curious, and I'm sure the audience will enjoy this as well. But obviously, this is a big project that you guys work on. But do you guys have full-time jobs on the side? And if you do, how do you juggle both of those at the same time?
Well, pretty much like everything that's music related is usually after 5.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
So that's a pretty good point right there. Because
Yeah.
like you can do like 9 to 5 if you want, 9 to 6,
Right.
whatever, and you'll still be fine.
Yeah.
Because like music things do happen like in the afternoon, but not that much, So
Majority of it's usually in the evening.
yeah, and like the musician schedule is always at night. Like,
That's true.
We're
Yeah.
working.
In that world, I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, you always work in like being in studios until like 4 or 5 a.m.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly. Yeah. Henry does a lot of writing, producing. I am actually in design, videography, so it does still overlap.
Of course.
That's another reason why, making the project was a little simpler because everything is in house. When it comes to branding, I do it. So
Right.
And same, like everybody that's there uses what they do outside of there to kind of contribute a little bit, and then it goes back because this also helps us to okay, it's a Sunday, we do end up pretty much working all Sunday.
Yeah.
But it's like a cool thing to do. So you
Right.
go back to the week with like that little bit of a little bit
fresh.
of a refreshment.
100%. You enjoy what you do, so it doesn't really feel so much like work, I guess you could
Exactly.
say.
Yeah.
And going back to your last question, like I think a dream for all of us is to actually be able to scale this to a point where
Exactly.
this becomes like the main thing
course.
for all of us. Even if it is just like a part of the main thing that we do, but we want to expand to however many different corners that we can.
Yeah.
Like if it becomes, hanging out with talent, or it just
Exactly.
becomes, all that stuff. We were definitely interested in that.
Of course,
Yeah.
yeah. No, the goal is, of course, is do this full time, right? Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
always
definitely.
the dream. And if I think in a perfect world, it's doing what you love, and if you can make money on top of it, hell yeah, like that's
Right.
that's the dream. So it's like the baby steps along the way. Obviously, we want to get from here to here super fast, but
That doesn't
you got to
really
get to
Right.
here to here first before you can get there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, I feel like the process is like the coolest part of it, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, or at least for me, that's what I enjoy the most. Cause like I see the growth, and it's really cool to see like when we started. It's been a year and we're already like doing, I think, big things.
Absolutely.
And then like it's just gonna keep on coming and coming. So I feel like that's a cool part of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you guys have now been in the music space doing these events and all that out there. What have you guys seen, I guess, between a lot of the artists that you've worked with, like in today's, I guess, industry and in the music space? Like, is there more aspiring musicians than before? Like, do you see more of that? Do you see less? Like, what does that world look like today?
I think like between the artists that we have worked with or the people that we aspire to work with that are already in our circle,
Right.
we see a lot of support, actually, like a lot of support. Like everybody's kind of rooting for each other, and then every time we meet somebody new, they have this like sense of, oh yeah, this is awesome, so let me see how I can help. But in terms of us being able to see if there's more or less, I don't think we are able to actually like see if there's more.
Right.
But we do feel our silk circle kind of always expanding. Like
Gotcha.
we do feel that, and
So
especially
a lot of support in the space, but not too sure if there's a lot of artists out there, essentially. But there's tons of support, you're saying.
no, I mean there's for sure.
There's a ton of artists.
There's
out
a
there.
ton of artists.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it is. Yeah.
Like, we definitely do get hit up by like a ton of artists all
Yeah.
the time. Now the thing's like we're just gonna change our like seeking process a little bit. Now it goes through a thing where like we decide, right, we're gonna bring this singer, and now like we choose it pretty much.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a lot of artists.
Yeah.
And are they a lot of Latino artists, or is it
Most
a lot of
Latinos.
Latinos, right?
Especially in Miami.
Yeah, we're in Miami.
Yeah, considering that it's Miami, I
We
figured there'd
end
be a
up-
lot.
Yeah, we end up working with a lot of them too. Like a lot of them just and they're like, I think to me it's really cool that the fact that a lot of them are gunning for that like Latino space. Like I mean,
hot right
Bad
now.
Bunny is
Yeah, exactly.
is the biggest artist in the world. Like all these are the biggest artists in the world, so
It's
it makes
crazy.
sense from like a business standpoint also. But it's cool that everybody's kind of like also excited about sharing that side of that musical kind of heritage, I guess, if you could say, because
Definitely.
because a lot of them like there's a lot of us that are either coming here or have been here for a long time, but our family is from somewhere else, and we have that sort of 1 foot here, 1 foot there type of experience.
Yeah, they all want to bring their roots.
Yeah, they all
like,
want to bring their
heritage,
identity
definitely.
into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It's home. That's what you're familiar with. Do you guys have a favorite genre of music that you prefer to listen to?
Damn.
Tough question.
It depends on my mood. Too.
It's a
Tough
mood
question.
thing.
I love jazz and like R&B. I listen to that a lot, but it really depends on my mood. Like I can be listening to that and then listen to Slipknot afterwards, and then like Paganini, like something like that.
It can go all over.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I can be listening, like I love rock music and stuff like that. Like that's the musical space that I've worked on for the
Right.
most. But I love hip hop. I love just. It's impossible to. I don't think there's music that you can't like. Maybe it's not your cup of tea.
Right.
But
I agree.
Exactly.
I agree. It's almost like you're gonna listen to it at one point.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's very dependent on not only your mood, but also like the cycles of life too.
Yeah.
Like the younger I was, like I definitely consumed a ton more hip hop, right? Now, not so much. And if it is hip hop, it's a very different style of hip hop, right?
Right.
So I think it also like, it's just, you're always cycling through it. And then of course, while you're also cycling through it, there's a new wave of artists that are rolling through.
Yeah.
So I just think there's a constant evolution not only like on the artist side, but like on the listening side of it. Like,
Yeah.
it's always changing.
What are you listening to right now?
So it depends. I'm a very big like reggae guy. So
Nice.
I just
Cool.
big.
Interesting.
I listen to a ton of reggae.
That's dope.
I do enjoy country music a lot.
Nice.
I'm a big country music guy. And then old school hip hop, I would say, is my
Nice.
top, like top three. And then after that, it floats. I like the Spanish music, but I'm not into like the reggaeton as
Okay.
much. If I'm out there, different.
That's what I was gonna say.
But if I'm in the car, like I'm not gonna just bump
Right.
reggaeton like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Some people are like that. Like that, I know a ton of people like
Yeah.
all they listen to is reggaeton
yeah.
24/7. I'm not one of those people, but I appreciate it in the right moments. I'm more of like a Carlos Vives style. Like if I'm gonna listen to
Ooh.
that, I like that more like. I don't know. It gives me like that more like vibey Latino.
Yeah.
Lifts up the mood.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. But again, I'm very similar to you guys. Like I'll listen to a little bit of everything.
Right. Yeah, and it all depends of the space where you're at. If I'm like, I don't know, if I want to go party, like I don't want to
that's
listen
when
to
you want
music.
to doesn't come out. You know what I'm saying?
Something else, you know?
Yeah.
Little classical music on the way out. Just set the mood.
Exactly.
That's cool. Well, I'm really excited. I think we're gonna do a lot of fun projects together.
Definitely.
I think the tranquilo and music, like we were saying, has a lot of synergy. So we're definitely excited to see what other things we can do. Even maybe showcasing some of the artists' stories that you guys have on. I think
Yeah.
would be super cool piece of content. And yeah, I think music is one of the things that makes the world go round. Without music, the world is not a better place. Like we need music in
We
this
need
world,
it,
right?
100%.
So we're definitely excited, and we thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you
Of course,
so much for having us.
long overdue for real. So if you guys want to mention where they can find you, obviously we'll tag everything. But
I'll take over.
yeah,
Yeah, so you guys can find us at El Cuartito Sessions, right? That's our YouTube page. That's our Instagram page. For Henry, you can find him at Henry Costa.
Ricosta. Yes.
For me, I'm Luis B Drums on Instagram. But just like it would be cool. Like, look, our piano player is Nehemiahs_O.
right.
There's Kept in Focus. That's our
That's Nico.
That's our
Nico.
boy Nico.
Yeah.
There's Art of Pian. That's our bass player, and he's awesome. He's an awesome, actually, awesome plastic artist. He's a painter too.
Oh, cool.
Chris is CA
Interesting.
Padron, and you can find us all on Instagram for sure. But if you follow El Cuartito, you'll be able to find all our links, and just follow the page, and be aware. Like we'll be around.
I like it. Hell yeah. We're excited. So thanks guys for tuning in, and we will see you guys on the next one. See you later.